Welcome to Fireside Yankees. My name is Alex, my co-host here, Nick Nielsen. Wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update for some injured players, specifically Aroldis Chapman and Zack Britton, two relief guys that are on their way back. Zack Britton, of course, had Tommy John surgery last year, did not play much, kind of missed half the year. And hopefully he can make an impact in the second half of this year. Of course, that Tommy John surgery is significant. He's probably going to need time to ramp up, but he has been pitching, has been doing some bullpen sessions. The expected return is August. So definitely want to discuss momentarily about his impact upon his return, and Nick, what you're thinking about that. And then Aroldis Chapman dealing with the Achilles tendonitis. Aaron Boone did say that the tendonitis is asymptomatic or nearly asymptomatic. He has been working in some bullpen sessions, and he should be back. And when asked about his role, he kind of was like, he'll be a top end, back end relief pitcher. He didn't even say he'd be a closer.
That's good. That's good. That's a step. That's a step in the right direction.
Exactly.
In the last episode that we just talked about, where we dove into the All-Stars, I mentioned Wandy Peralta, and at this point, I don't know why, but I'd rather see Wandy Peralta take over as the late inning guy than Aroldis Chapman. They both kind of offer the same thing. They're both lefties out of our pen. They both can kind of get guys out. Wandy gets a lot more soft contact, and his changeup is filthy. Whereas Aroldis, I don't think he's earned a back end, high end relief spot right now. Like I said in the last episode, I hope Aroldis's injury is the reason he struggled. But part of me hopes that. But the vast majority of me does not believe that's the case. And I just think that he may be slowly unraveling. Granted, any help in the bullpen is much needed help. Right now we're seeing a lot of Banuelos pitched pretty well yesterday, all things considered. But we're seeing Banuelos, we're seeing a lot higher leverage situations for Schmidt. Marinaccio got in the game the other day. I'm going to do an episode on him later this week. My boy sliced and diced. But we need bullpen reinforcements. And if you don't have to go out and trade for someone and give up prospects, that's huge. So if Aroldis can come back and play like the Aroldis Chapman he's been for 90% of his career, that is a big, big get. And then Britton, he comes back in August, I believe, is when we're anticipating him coming back.
Exactly.
And for the last 2 months of the season, the most pivotal 2 months of the season, right before the postseason, that is huge. And if he looks good and he's getting a lot of soft contact, as he has literally been the king of for his entire career, he's the ground ball maestro. That would be huge for the Yankees. Huge. But then it just created a problem where it's you'd probably see my guy Marinaccio sent down. But then again, because it's September comes the month after, so we'd have expanded rosters. So we could have a really, really, really good bullpen in September.
Totally. And look, Zack Britton coming back, he's going to need time to work his way back, right? The injury, it's not going to be an easy, replacement. You're not going to replace Marinaccio. No. I think it's going to be more about we'll test him for this amount of time, pull back Marinaccio, whoever it might be. They've been getting David McKay mixed in a little bit as well. But looking at Chapman, right? The first month of the year of the season in April, he had a perfect ERA, gave up a couple of walks here and there, had 6 walks over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 appearances. Gave up 6 walks, 11 strikeouts. So 8 ground balls, 9 fly balls. Definitely only gave up 2 hits the entire time. So he was pretty damn good. In fact, he was great for the most part. And then you go ahead to May, and that's when the injury starts to hit. I think the injury hits at probably around May 11th, because
first, second week of May, end of first week of May, something like that.
Because against Toronto, he gives up an earned run, he gives up a walk. And then that was his first, Yankees still win the game. He gets the save, but then the next game they lose, and he gives up a run in the 9th inning, and they lose. It's not looking so good. And then he walks, gives up another run against Baltimore, another run and 3 hits against Baltimore. And then his last outing before being placed on the injured list, he gives up 2 earned runs, a homer and a walk, and he blows a save. Right.
Team slugged in the month of May against him 741. Right.
Yeah, he had a 9.53 ERA in the month of May. So bad.
A 741 slugging percentage off of a closer is the one thing you never want to see, because that's the thing that loses games. That's why people are so pissed with Aroldis all the time. It's every big moment that he's blown is a big moment, and it's the most Aroldis moment ever, where it's you throw 100 down the middle, or you walk a guy setting up this next at bat where you have to be more aggressive because there's no place to put this guy. So when Aroldis is on, he's still one of the best relievers in baseball. Don't get me wrong. He's still very hard to hit when he's on. But when his splitter isn't on, he literally throws a slider and fastball. And we've seen his fastball's location has completely diminished.
He's throwing
and he
too
can't
high.
throw it that hard anymore.
His
He like
slider's
throws
hanging.
94 sometimes now.
He's
And it's
hanging
like
sliders.
Yeah, and he hangs a lot of the sliders. Like even in the games that he had saves, there were some where it's like, how did you miss that pitch?
Exactly.
So it's like I will say having Aroldis come back is huge, just in the general sense that we need bullpen help, and that if he's good and on, it will be a massive acquisition. We basically haven't had him for what, 3 weeks now for Aroldis?
Yeah, he's been out for it's about 2 weeks. I mean, his last game was on the 22nd of May. And it's the 9th now.
We're getting on to 3 weeks now.
We're getting on to 3 weeks.
So it's like that's the thing. Like you can see that we've missed him, and we have had some bullpen implosions, and people are very mad about having to see Litke and Castro get more innings.
I don't trust Litke at all.
I don't trust Litke at all.
I get terrified.
I'm done with Litke.
He hangs those freaking
everything, and they're like 79, 81 mile an hour. So it's like you hang them, and they just go bye-bye.
Once you get the hang, you can't let him go through. If he gets through one inning, you have to pull him immediately.
Exactly.
You can't let him see a second.
That's what I will say I like about Marinaccio too, seeing him pitch now, is that out of his last 3 appearances, or 4 appearances, I believe, 3 of them have been multi-inning appearances. And yesterday, or 2 days ago, against the Twins, he was on. Like, he hit Buxton, and that was the only mistake he made. Then he, like, struck out people. Like, his changeup is so good. Like, if we can have an arsenal of, like, every guy where they're kind of on their stuff, and we can pick and choose when we want to use them and in which situations, that is a luxury that very few teams have. Like, even the elite teams this season, they have their set back end guys. Whereas the Yankees, in my opinion, the only set guy right now is Clay Holmes and closer. And then we just go based on who's warm, who hasn't pitched, matchups, whatever, because we trust the other 4 or 5 guys in front of him basically the same. Like, King's rough May has kind of made it so he's now being kind of grouped in that Wandy group now, where it's like,
right,
is King really that like elite of a reliever as we saw? Or is he kind of more of this like good reliever? Don't get me wrong, but not that upper echelon top 1%.
I think he's a situational reliever. I don't think that you're throwing him out there. I think he's a lefty, right? Mm-hmm. Am I mistaken? He's a lefty.
No, King's a righty.
I'm talking about Wandy.
Oh yeah, Wandy's a lefty.
So Wandy being a lefty, I think that he's better if the lefty portion of the lineup's coming through.
True.
Love to use him in that. I think that that's why his innings haven't. He's kind of a little bit behind.
Yeah, he's a bit more. He is matchup guy. He is a matchup guy.
Right, he's a matchup guy. So, overall, I'm not too worried about this bullpen. The Yankees are still winning games. Yesterday was kind of an anomaly. Nestor Cortez having an off day. Don't see that very often.
Same with JMO's anomaly day.
Same with JMO. I think Twins are a good team. Mm-hmm. At some point, they were going to
good lineup.
They've earned a couple of down performances. So I'm not too worried about it, guys. But just, a little bit of an update here on Chapman and Britton, definitely working the way back. Hopefully we'll make an impact very, very shortly. Britton 2 months from now, maybe Chapman next week. He's working his way back. He should be back soon. So I'm excited for that, guys. As always, thank you so much for being to Fireside Yankees. Make sure to like and subscribe below. Say hi to us in the comments. We'd love to converse. And we'll catch you guys on the next episode.